What's up, guys? Our country is in crisis. It's not racism, though many want to lead you to think that. It's not politics, though many would say it is. It's not about whose life matters more than another, because no one's life has inherently more value than another. It's not religion, who's Christian, who's pagan, who's Muslim, who's Hindu. Has nothing to do with that. It's not social justice, though the youth of America seem to always know what we should be freaking out about next. It's not LGBTQ plus, because who you choose to love or who you choose to have sex with in America is a non-issue. As much as folks want it to be in politics, it's a non-issue. It's not guns, because they can't shoot themselves. In fact, I've had one on my back and another in a bag next to me in public all day long, and neither one of them have shot anyone yet. It's not the media, though they actively cultivate division, likely more problems and overt bullshit than any other conglomerate in history. It's not the government and what they should or shouldn't do or be in charge of doing. Those things may be big problems, or at least they seem to be. But they certainly aren't the crisis at hand. The crisis, if we attack just this one thing, we can mitigate the negative effects of almost every other issue or any issue of the perception of a problem by changing just this one thing. And the resulting actions associated with so many of those problems just go away. Want to know what it is? You want to know what the problem is, the crisis? The crisis at hand is twofold, and it's directly related and also independently impactful towards each other. The crisis is in the large people group who have lost, forgotten, never learned, or perhaps just they were never taught the skill of critical thinking as an individual, and secondly, have been somehow throughout their life allowed to avoid or ignore taking personal responsibility for the actions and decisions that they make while lacking those essential critical skills, critical thinking skills. It seems like everywhere I look, I see people allowing the loudest voices, all the loudest voices, not the most knowledgeable voices, not the most thoughtful voices, not the most educated or the most experienced or the wisest people, not the most trained, knowledge, training, experience, rather just the loudest voices to tell them how they should think, act, and respond to scenarios. In many cases, the loudest voices are agenda-driven at best, inexperienced at real-life kids somewhere in the middle, and then on the far end of that, divisive agitators bent on destruction at their very worst. The loudest, by far, in my opinion, seem to be the mainstream media. They are so freaking noisy. They all have agenda. Their job is to hook you and keep you hooked as long as possible. Sensationalism pushes that media narrative, and furthered by who? Celebrity type folks and partisan politics people talking. The combo really feeds on the young population who are listening to those being the loudest and lack those essential critical thinking skills, as well as an understanding of a modicum of personal responsibility in today's day and age. Movie stars, pro athletes, musicians, celebrities, and the rich business owners, man, they're all loud too. In fact, honestly, I wish they would just keep their freaking pie traps shut about everything except what they get paid for. Because honestly, their ridiculousness often ruins otherwise really good stuff that I want to like, but they won't shut up. Most elected officials, they're loud too, but they're just trying to be staying in power, and whatever it takes. Examples of this are all around, but the most recent that I can think of, a high-power political play that I can think of, happens to be in the realm of law enforcement, and it involves a friend of mine's son, Garrett Rolfe, here in Atlanta. As a side note, this is both tragic and frightening to me, as once again it shows me a truth that I've been speaking out on for years, and that is that the public, the elected officials, and even many of the professionals who are in the practice of law at large have no understanding of what law enforcement do or even the laws that they enforce. But back to that power plant in Atlanta, right? In this particular Fulton County DA, Paul Howard, has used a lawful use of force that was literally a textbook procedure and to the letter of the law. An incident of this officer involved shooting tragically as a political posturing at the two officers involved expense by filing charges on the officers through a complete redefining of the court case of Tennessee versus Garner, Supreme Court case. And he did that for his own agenda. He falsely misrepresented shots of a body cam footage, still shots. He lied completely about the witness statements of who's going to be a witness here and there, as well as he lied about what actually transpired. And moreover, just for the purpose of pandering to vote. In my personal opinion, that shit is disgusting. And anyone who's in on that play is an absolute dirtbag for the behavior and should have consequences that represent the reprehensible nature of what is being done. Mayor Bottoms is, of Atlanta is just as guilty in this by saying things like this, that she watched the video of the incident with Mr. Brooks for 30 minutes. And she says that the incident was non-confrontational. She went on to describe Mr. Brooks as a guy that you were rooting for, and that the shooting of Mr. Brooks was murder. This is interesting to me because by the letter of the law, it absolutely was not murder. And by her statements, she reveals her true nature. Whatever will keep her in power. This behavior is rampant, guys. It's everywhere. It's nauseating. And we can begin to exterminate all of those things that I mentioned up that list. It's potentially perceived problems. We can eliminate those right now, in this moment. And moving forward, we can eliminate them. We got to do it by teaching our children to think critically about the questions they have about life. Think critically about them. By teaching them to critically think through actual, real-world life happening all around them. Not shielding them from real life, but using moments to lead them to understanding the consequences of those actions and the impact of others' choices on the world around them. We got to lead them to seeking the truth on their own and not just giving the answers to them. Guide them to thought processes that recognize how to seek and find the answers to the complexities of the world around them. Teach them to choose carefully. And here's the big one: accept the consequences of those choices, whether good or bad. Give them a gift. The gift is understanding personal responsibility for their thoughts, choices, words, and actions. It's not someone else's fault. But it doesn't just start with the children. It starts with you and me. It starts by choosing a mindset that is a growth mindset, by living a lifestyle of seeking truth, even when it goes against the thoughts and beliefs that we've adopted, or that we've been taught, or that we've been led to believe. It starts by fighting for the equality of mankind and fighting the narratives in your head that tell you anything but that. Stop with the posturing. Stop with the racist narrative. Stop with the police brutality narrative. Stop with the changing your profile to all black. Stop with the bandwagon bullshit. Stop. It's super easy to jump on board as a social justice warrior. It's easy to believe a narrative that's popular. Screw that. Lead. Don't follow. Don't fall in line because you think something is true. Don't fall in line because it sounds like what you want to believe or how your emotions make you feel you should believe. Know the freaking truth. Know it. Know why you know it. Know the truth because you've sought after it with all that you have within you. Being willing to change and moving forward to that change if it doesn't match what you perceived as truth. No matter how difficult that is. Know it because it's supported by facts, proof, sound thought processes, statistics, wisdom, and experience. Finally, this. Life matters. All life. Period. Choose to stop pushing an agenda that values one life over another. Choose to stop believing that one so-called house is on fire more than others are. They're all on fire. Life matters. All life. Until that truth is recognized by everyone. Black lives, blue lives, brown lives, unborn lives, all lives. Until that truth moves forward, the world is destined to see continued sadness, trauma, violence, and heartbreak. You are more than what you do, where you came from, and the color of your skin. Start believing as such and start behaving as such. Seek truth, hate evil, love people, and take a stand for and against those things where you are able to do so. Till next time.